Yeah, I mean, I'll say it over and over again. We go as our defense goes. And, there was a stretch there where we just weren't getting it done defensively, giving them too many opportunities, catch and shoot threes, cuts to the basket. And then, again, we decided to do what we do best, and that's guard. And when we do that, it triggers our offense, and it gave us an opportunity to create some separation.
At one point, as things kind of got tense, you were kind of sitting on the scores table, had your hands crossed, didn't seem too concerned. How comforting is it to have someone like Kay who, relishes those moments? I
mean, obviously, that's what, superstars do. And Cade is in that era of superstars. Like, he thrives in that moment. But I thought we had a bunch of guys down the stretch who've been proven that they can make plays for us. Dennis makes plays, Duncan, JD. Like, for JD and Stu to make their free throws down the stretch is huge. So we'll never be a one-man band. Cade, obviously, is a stud and is a superstar. But he's uplifted by his teammates who help him in those moments also. And then as far as Duncan, it seems like he's starting to be just meshing as well as possible, using his gravity to get other players open looks. What can you say about his performances? Yeah, I mean, that's why he was brought here. And I feel like he's getting more comfortable, at taking more threes, you know what I mean? Like, not just the feet set threes, but, you see him taking those off the move threes that help generate that gravity you're talking about. Now teams have to put 2 on the ball as he comes off, and he's a good passer where he makes that pass to the pocket, but you also see him attacking the basket, right? Teams are closing him out so heavy, he's driving, getting to the basket, finishing, or making the right play.
Coach, would you mind sharing what led to the decision to bring Asar Thompson off the bench, and what did you see from his return as well?
I thought he was good. He was, on a minutes restriction, so you're always trying to juggle, those minutes with, how you get him to play in the fourth quarter. And if you can eat up some early first quarter minutes with him on the bench, that pushes those minutes into the fourth quarter. So we were able to play him down the stretch. He's a starter for us. And, once we get him back to his, full level or, even more minutes, we'll be able to run him in longer stretches and, he'll be back in the starting lineup.
Coach, I'm sure you've seen the potential in practice, but has it been anything that you've learned about this team during this win streak?
I mean, yeah, it's just, a willingness to do whatever it takes. The ability not to fold and fragment when things get rough, a determination when things get the muddiest and get the stickiest. They just know how to play through those moments and power through those moments. They relish in the ability to dig down deep and go places that other people just don't want to go. And I think that's why we've had, the run that we've had is because of their willingness to do just whatever it takes to get the win and be as nasty as we need to be.
JB, when you talk about Cade, he seems very comfortable in that role. Franchise player, superstar. Can you just talk about his growth the last couple of years?
Yeah, I mean, it's the position that you're put in when you're the number one pick. Isn't an easy position, right? The responsibilities that come with that, the hopes that come with that, the pressures that come with that, and then the makeup of what's going on around you, because typically you're in that rebuild situation. So the thing that I would say about Cade that's been, most impressive is like his stick-to-itiveness through it all, right? Like, he could have been pissed off. He could have been frustrated. He could have blamed everybody else. But never once did you hear him do that. The only thing he ever did was put his head down and go to work and accept responsibility. I don't know if I've coached a guy who has apologized or my bad at me and meant it more than Cade. You can coach him. He wants to be great. And I think that's where you see his growth is because he's open-minded to, what's in front of him and not just thinking about his own perspective. And then I marvel at a guy that age that is able to handle his teammates the way that he does. A guy who could very easily just separate himself from the group. But he never does. He's always the one pulling people together. He doesn't want to be treated any differently. I say this all the time to people, like, he can eat without taking food off your plate. There's nothing better than that from your superstar.
Coach, you mentioned the importance of the defense. How important is it to you to have a great defense?
There's nothing better than that from your superstar. There's nothing better than that from your superstar. There's nothing better than that from your superstar. Appreciate y'all. Oh, you got one? Go ahead.
Yeah, Coach, for most of the first half, you guys were shooting over 70% from the field, especially on the two-pointers, and especially with Durant inside bullying. Was that a point of emphasis going into the game?
Yeah, that's who we are. We're an attack-minded team. We want to get to the paint as much as we can. We feel like if you dominate the painted area on both sides of the ball, you give yourself the best opportunity to win, and then we'll create the threes from there. But our mindset is always to attack, and put